Happy Easter from Taupo Salvation Army. This Easter is looking very different for all of us. Whether you would normally be going to church or to Easter Fest in Taupo, or going on a short holiday break, or meeting up with your extended family, this Easter is very different for all of us in lockdown. It is normal for us to feel sad and other emotions about what we might have been doing during this time. It's good to acknowledge our feelings and emotions. And today we want to bring you a message of Easter and a message of hope.
Yeah, Easter's all about hope, but also it is important to process and talk about the things which could have been. We encourage you to talk with those around you about what your plans were, what you would normally do at this time. Have a conversation with your neighbours over the fence, or with your family and friends over the phone and on Facebook. Also, we'd love to engage in conversation if this video has any questions that you'd like to ask. And if you need assistance in any way, then please again ask, and we'd love to help where we can.
Every Sunday during lockdown at 10 a.m. there is a live stream meeting shared by the Salvation Army at salvationonline.org.nz. We encourage you to tune in to listen to the message and sing along with the songs, and we will be tuning in too. So check it out, salvationonline.org.nz. Right now, Jonny is going to share with us a message about Easter Saturday and the doubt and uncertainty that Easter Saturday represents.
With this video being released on Easter Saturday, I want to take the opportunity to talk about doubt and uncertainty. We are just over halfway through the initial 4-week lockdown to help combat the spread of COVID-19 in Aotearoa. Yet beyond this, our future is very uncertain. Will the lockdown be extended? If not, will we have future periods of lockdown? For many of us, the immediate impact of COVID-19 could be the loss of income or the inability to travel to see family. What's more, we know that COVID-19 isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. It looks like it's going to significantly impact our lives in some way or other for at least a year. What will our society look like by the end of this period? Right now, we are in a time of not knowing and doing the best that we can in our present circumstances. And this is where my mind turns toward Easter Saturday. In the Bible, all 4 of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, record events which occurred on Good Friday with Jesus' crucifixion. They all record events which took place on Easter Sunday with Jesus' resurrection from the dead. Yet, the Bible is silent about the day which falls in between, Easter Saturday. Isn't that extraordinary? But try to imagine what it must have been like. And to do so, let's put ourselves in the place of one of Jesus' disciples. Last Sunday, Palm Sunday, Shah shared about the triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem riding a donkey. There was great rejoicing and celebration as the crowds mistakenly thought that Jesus was coming to overthrow the Roman Empire. Imagine you were one of the disciples at this point, taken up with the excitement. The teacher you have been following these past few years seems to be coming to the ultimate triumph of his ministry. Everything you hope for is going to come true. 4 days later, you commemorate one of the key Jewish festivals, Passover. And Jesus is saying and doing some weird things as you do. He passes out bread and says it's his body. He passes out wine and says it's his blood. After the meal, you all head out to the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus spends some time in prayer. It's been a long week, and you fall asleep despite your best efforts to stay awake and pray. Jesus stirs you from your sleep, just as a large crowd of people arrives, led by none other than Judas Iscariot, one of your fellow disciples. He has betrayed Jesus. Jesus is arrested and taken away. The one you thought was a Messiah is led away in chains. A sham trial is conducted, and just a few hours later on Friday, Jesus is hung up on a cross to be crucified in what remains one of the most painful and horrible ways to die. What a difference a week makes. At this point, you're not even thinking of Jesus' teaching from the past few years. You never understood many of it anyway. All you see is a figure who represented all your hopes dying in the most painful way imaginable. Jesus, the one who you have devoted the last few years of your life to following, leaving behind your family, your trade, your hometown. And then Jesus dies on Friday afternoon. He is soon after quickly taken down from the cross and buried. The Sabbath is coming at nightfall, and there are restrictions at that time for preparing a grave, hence the rush. And then comes Easter Saturday, a day of asking, what just happened? What comes next? A day surely filled with intense grief for Jesus' closest followers. Now there's a phrase, it's Friday, but Sunday's coming. But at this time, in their grief, the disciples surely believed that Jesus' ministry was all over, that ultimately it had come to nothing. The Gospel accounts clearly say that the disciples did not understand when Jesus spoke of himself of rising after 3 days. Easter Saturday was surely a dark day for the disciples, of doubt, confusion, and sorrow. But what the disciples probably didn't understand at that time was that there was still hope. The Bible clearly teaches that Jesus' resurrection was part of God's plan all along. So whilst the disciples did not know what was to come next, of Jesus' glorious resurrection from the dead, we do know what came next. We know that there was hope for them. And because of that, we know that there is hope for us today, here, even in a global pandemic. Our hope in God is something we can cling to, and something we can share. Something even which means we can flourish despite being in lockdown and confined to our homes. A very famous chapter in the Bible is found in the book of Hebrews in the New Testament. Chapter 11 is often referred to as the Hall of Faith. Now this book was written around 30 years after Jesus' ministry and actually contains the only definition of faith found in the entire Bible. This is what it says. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Faith doesn't mean we know what the outcome will be. In a very real sense, if we can see something, we don't need faith. Faith is not the same as certainty. It has an element of doubt about it. But that's not the same as saying that faith is blind. I truly believe that there is very good reason to have faith that God exists, that he came to earth in human form, lived with us, died, and was resurrected. There is very good reason to have faith and hope in God. But what Easter Saturday represents is still important. It is important to have time to grieve for what has occurred. It is okay to sit in the uncertainty and wonder what is going to happen. It is okay to have doubts about the future and doubts about where is God even in all this which is going on. We don't know what the outcome is going to be for us in Aotearoa, New Zealand, or for our global world. We know that there is very real suffering going on. But we can have faith and hope in a God who knows what it is to live in suffering and to die. We can have faith and hope in God who has conquered the grave and know that he will continue to hold us whatever happens. We can have faith and hope in God that death is not the end, but just a continuation of our life in him. And so it is my prayer that you would know the hope and deep peace that comes from a personal relationship with God, and that together, our hope and our faith will carry us into the future, whatever it looks like. As a reflection, I invite you to listen to or read the words of the song Cornerstone. These are words I found myself coming back to time and time again. You may wish to simply read through the words on the screen as a prayer, or alternatively, you may wish to click the link which will take you to the song elsewhere on YouTube and listen and make those words your prayer. Use this as a way to reflect and pray and connect with God. But I would like to leave you with these words from Romans chapter 15, verse 13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen.